Mike Hitachi. Open the business meeting. Bobby School Facilities Commission. Date is Thursday, July 24th, 8:30 a.m. One while. Item on our agenda, roll call.
All right, Commissioner Conklin,
Present.
Commissioner Barron's,
Present.
Commissioner Cashelhopper.
Present.
Here.
She's here, we see her. Commissioner Thayer.
Here.
Commissioner Thorne,
Present.
Commissioner Van Mark.
Present.
She's there, can't hear her either. Trent Carroll,
Present.
there he is. And Chairman Tartar.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you very much. I'd like to go around and have the commission staff introduce themselves. I'll start to my right.
Shelby Carlson, School Facilities Division Administrator.
Jeremy Sayers, State Construction Office, Project Manager.
Tom Rexis, Construction Management Supervisor.
Dylan Comey, Director for State Construction Department.
Bruce Thorne, Commissioner.
Jack Tartar.
Tom Ferens, Commissioner. Travis Collins.
Scott there, Commissioner.
Shelley Colorado. Jack of all trades.
Travis, Public Information Officer.
Laura Anderson, Finance and Operations Administrator.
Right. Devin Kenny, Wyoming Attorney General's Office.
And now our guests all went to introduce themselves. We'll start over here, back row by the door.
I'm Randy Gill. I'm the Facilities Manager for County School District Number 1.
Adam Ertman, Western County School District Number 1, Administrator.
Mitch Johnson, the Facilities Director for Converse 1.
Dan Sullivan Williams, Sweetwater 1. Charlie Kaufman, Washington County School District Number 1.
Russ Bishop, Western County School District Number 7.
Thank you, everybody.
Commissioners
Online.
Commissioners.
Anybody online would like to introduce themselves?
Well, I don't know that I want to, but I will. Jackie Van Mark, I'm a commissioner.
Oh, no.
This is Lance
Jackie,
West
is your
from
mic
Laramie
off?
County School District 2.
There you go.
Mine's on, and I'm talking loud.
Sorry, I had you muted on our end. That was my fault.
That's more.
Nice.
Joni Cashelhoffer, Commissioner.
Good morning, I'm Maureen Roskowski with FEA.
John Zing, Johnson County School District, Facility Director.
Good morning. I'm Lance West from Laramie County School District Number 2, Transportation Facilities Manager.
The others want to introduce themselves, if not, we'll go on with the meeting. There we go.
Good morning, I'm Bill Small from FEA.
The others want to introduce themselves. Not, thank you very much. We'll move on. Director's remarks.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Again, I'd like to thank Charlie for all of his efforts helping us with particularly all the food, the resources here to staff the meeting. I really appreciate it. I'd like to go over a couple of items that we didn't touch on yesterday, but one of those is select committee on school facility. That's going to be scheduled in Casper on August 20th. I believe that's a Wednesday. And we just received some documents from LSO for some information they'd like from us. So if we get it to them. So one is the copy of the annual report. The other one is the budget request that we're over today. So once that's voted on by commission, we'll give that to LSO staff. And the other is information on the procurement requirements for school district facilities, and then what is SCD's role and how are we implementing the state statutes and rules in that regard. So a little unclear exactly what they want there. I think part of that's probably going to be some district testimony. I believe they've got some folks representing school districts also, but we'll reach out and touch bases to kind of see what that is. In addition to that, at the last meeting, there was a couple of bills that they were going to work on at our request. One of those being, or put together, one of those being the difference in excess square footage. Last year, the committee took that up and it actually resulted in some additional monies for the districts for major maintenance, but changing that from, it's currently at 100, goes up to 115%. And last year they passed through the committee, go to 135%, but it was only, it was amended in, I believe the Senate side to only go to 1 year. And so we asked them to take another look at that. So they were putting together some language on that. And the other was put together the bill itself, the select committee bill for the budget. And so traditionally they follow the commission's budget or start with that. So again, they request for us to give that information. So that's another item that's coming up in the near future if any commission at that meeting. Shelby's kind of scared to go there, so she's heading for the mountains.
Yes.
Leaving John and I to tackle the stuff with some help from the rest of the staff. Laura also is headed out of state. She didn't want to show up either. So
Shelby and I are the smart ones. We're getting out of town.
So anyway, but we'll still be there and hopefully represent the commission and department well. So with that, Mr. Chairman, that's really all I have.
Next item on our agenda. Tab 1, the approval of our agenda. Next item is approval of our agenda. I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Did you use a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussions? Any additions or corrections? Any additions or corrections? Since you're ready to vote on the approval agenda, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. The next item is an information item. It's on your tab 1. And it's Laramie County School District number 2. Request for bus garage replacement. John Rex.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Laramie County School District 2 sent a letter dated July 10th, 2025, requesting consideration for a replacement transportation facility. The building was constructed in 1971 on 2 acres and was originally the vocational education Burns before it was converted to a transportation facility in 1997 after the New Burns High School was completed. The FCI score for that building currently is 0.176. It has 6,640 square feet, 2 working bays, a storage area over offices, and Laramie County School District 2 issued a bid for siding, windows, doors, and roof replacement in spring of 2024, and only one bidder submitted a proposal for nearly $300,000, which was ultimately rejected by the district. They have a total of 44 buses and 26 drivers, and the district has purchased 10 acres on the west side of Burns in 2009. Based on the facility condition assessment, deficiencies through 2030 total $327,911.36, with a current replacement value of $1,859,200, and that's based on $280 per square. That was something I believe we discussed a little bit yesterday on non-educational. Less than $180 a square foot. We brought up to $200. Our consult certain things for design. We have included a picture of the exterior and a bird's eye view of the site, so you kind of get an idea of the strengths they have parking buses. And also, we've included what we call the replacement reserves report, which has all the different components that are coming due for replacement through 2042, and what those particular components are and the assigned dollar values. I would mention that those dollar values are just for the actual rated dollar values, and they don't include any design or stock. So all of those things would probably cost inflation for 2023. The next item in the packet, there's a letter from the district requesting consideration. With that being said, I will either turn it over for questions, or I believe Lance West is online, and I think he would kind of like to speak to this issue some. Perhaps he can help.
We'll have Lance go first.
Okay, thank you for the time, guys. Hope you can hear me right now. But one of our biggest concerns here in Burns is the security. That is a challenge here for us with the buses parked on the yard, the 44 buses, and then right around 50 of our small fleet. To fence this property is very challenging in terms of logistics of being able to get vehicles in and out of here. And with the growing concerns of theft or vandalism and things like that, even out here in the Burns community or in school district number 2 here in Laramie County, security is one of our big concerns there. Another thing that we run into in terms of efficiency with our mechanic in the building here, if we have an emergency situation, we really only have space for two buses in there, and so if we get one that goes down, that ties up a full bay, and things happen. So yeah, it's just not a lot of space in terms of being able to get these buses in and out effectively or efficiently, and having our people do their thing with them. The age of the building certainly is getting up there. This spring we looked at a remodel of it or a renovation of it. Those bids came in and they ranged quite high to take care of the issues in terms of leaky roof, walls that have water coming underneath them because of the elevations around the building itself. Everything's kind of draining this way. Just the cost of it seems pretty high to do that sort of thing. Our district design has changed. Our superintendent has combined the position of facilities and transportation, which I currently hold. And we don't have a central delivery point or a place to receive everything that comes in and out of the district, and to house both departments and the needs of those. So just a consideration, hoping that you guys will look at it. That's kind of what we have from our end. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Or, yes,
Mr. Chairman, on the bid that was rejected last year, I was looking at the form that John had put together with kind of the projected upgrade. What was the? It looks like that's moved out 4 or 5 years. What's the thought on that? It sounds like it's needed or something needs to happen. Can you help us understand that?
Yeah. Yes. So around the facility here, the town streets they're all gravel. And over time they have built up. And so this building sits down, or it appears to sit down. So the drainage kind of flows towards the building. The water comes underneath the wall. and into the facility itself. And so with heavy rains or melting snow and stuff like that, that's the biggest issue. And I'm also concerned about the insulation behind that wall, how much the potential of maybe mold or rotting, things like that that have occurred or that could have occurred. And then the roof itself is patched up, so to speak. And we said structurally, I think the building is fine. And I think everybody that's come out here and looked at it agrees with that. It's just the skirting of it and the roof and it being sealed up is not not as good as it used to be.
Further questions? Questions? Thank you very much for your time. Now
Thank
move
you.
to action items. Tab 2, previous business meeting minutes. I entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Chairman, approval of the minutes. Second. It's moved and seconded. Are there any additions or corrections or any discussion? Additions or corrections? Any discussion? Since you're ready to vote, approving the previous business meeting. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. So moved. Next item. Tab 3. Money transfer transactions, financial reports. Peter Anderson.
Yes, sir. Chairman Turner, we will go ahead and just go through as we went through everything yesterday, except for the balances. With your permission, we'll just do the balances today. And that is on tab 3, page 39. That's where we start with the balances. The 17-18 unanticipated CAPCON is sitting at just under $1.2 million. We did have a change to the 21-22 unanticipated CAPCON based on this commission's approval on June 25th at your meeting. You approved $1,418,676 to come out of the 21-22 and the 23-24 unanticipated accounts. So we took the $1 million that was the balance of the 21-22. We have taken that full amount out of there, so that account is now zero. You won't see that one anymore. And then we moved to 23-24 and we took the $418,676 out of there. That was the remaining that you had approved, leaving that account at a balance now of $1,941,161. You also approved the Douglas air handler for $213,800 that will come out of that account as well. However, that didn't get processed until July 3rd, so that'll show in the July financials and it doesn't show in June based on your actions. Moving along to the 25-26, the balance had two items hit it. There was the sublet Pinedale High School electric for $175,242 that went in based on your action of 5/14/25. And then on 6/25, your June meeting, the Albany 1, the Old Slade demolition was for $124,340 for a total transaction of $299,583, leaving the account balance at $22,814,481. Moving along, the Land Opportunity Fund still sits at $713,500. And the emergency fund, based on your action in your June meeting for the Teton 1 single occupancy restroom of $100,000, now sits at $3,993,278. There are two items in this budget or in this meeting that are up for your approval. If both of those were to be approved, the balance would then go down to $3,552,092, just so that you know, because I know that'll come up when you're talking about that. So you still have plenty of money in there. And then the planning fund sits at $3,500,345. The inflationary fund is still sitting with an uncommitted balance of $13,396,014. And the recommendation is that you approve the financials as presented, unless someone has questions, which I have.
Are there any questions? Questions? Any questions since you're ready to vote? All those in favor? Oh, we got to get a motion. Oh, wait. Yeah, second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion. Any discussion? Since vote, all those in favor of approving the Administrator Anderson's report, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? Seeing none? Motion is approved. Next item is tab 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bighorn County School District number 1 sent letter on May 28, 2025 to the School Facility Commission requesting authorization to dispose of a teacherage located at 176 South 3rd Street, East Valley, Wyoming. The teacherage was built in 1974 and is 2,920 total square feet. The Board of Trustees approved the disposition of the teacherage in June of 2025, and they intend to make the Cali teacherage available through a local realtor. Bighorn County School District 1 intends for proceeds of the sale to reimburse their purchase of a fourplex for teachers. Disposition of this property is not included in Bighorn County School District's facility plan. I've got a bird's eye view and a front elevation of the building included. Analysis is that teacherages are specifically excluded for major maintenance calculations under Wyoming statute 2159, but otherwise meet the definition of school buildings and facilities under 2115.11. Commission approval is required before a district may dispose of or demolish a school building or facility, including the teacherage. The action item for today is to determine if the disposition of the teacherage at 176 South 3rd Street East in Valley protects the financial interests of the state or is not otherwise in the public interest. And the results are that if it's approved, they will be able to dispose of that Cali teacherage. If not, they will have to keep it. The recommendation from the state is that the School Facility Commission approve the Bighorn County School District 1 to dispose of the teacherage at 176 South 3rd Street East. Valley, Wyoming is being in the best financial interest of the state and public, pending modification to the district facility, and with the understanding that any costs and revenues incurred by the disposition of the property shall be accounted for in the district's facility plan and considered in any building or facility related to that district. And the department's recommendation is to approve state construction. After that, we would include the statutory.
Entertain a motion. Chairman, so moved for the disposal. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Since you're ready to vote, all those in favor of approving the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
The opposed, same sign. So moved. Next item, tab 5. He's on School District number 1, Mercer for Jackson Hole. Best.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last Tuesday, board meeting for Teton 1, he presented a Mercer study, offshoot of the larger that's going on currently that FGT is doing. That Mercer study, or the offshoot of that, was for the security vestibule. Realizing this district is very interested in getting security for the high school and getting that vestibule there, we thought it was best to pull that out and bring it towards for the missions of people in enforcement. The board did approve the study that was done, recommended that we move forward with the pulling of funds for the $8 million for that vestibule. So a little bit of high level background on that. I'll kind of start through this. So in March of 2024, the Facilities Commission meeting the commission approved the state construction department's use of consultant services to perform a most cost-effective remedy for Teton County School District's number of one's concerns. You recall, Mr. Chairman, that was for adequacy of the building. That same year, in the 24 legislative session, Wyoming State Legislature appropriated $21.8 million for that construction project to remedy the situation at Jackson Hole High School. That included that there was action required to appropriate those funds, and that was that State Facilities Commission adopted first that the determination of the project to be incorporated into Teton County District's School District Number 1 facility plan. As I mentioned earlier, we're currently working through that larger review, and as part of that, there was security vestibule came up. The district had actually bid a security vestibule a couple of years ago, and that was about $2.5 million at the time. They also did a vestibule on one of their other schools. I believe it was around the same time, or maybe it was one of their elementaries. And that really expended most of the funds they had available for the security funds to be able to do that. So they put on hold the security vestibule for the high school. And then, as I mentioned earlier, that was incorporated into the overall Mercer study that's ongoing. We have with us, I believe, today is Rob Tanner on.
I'm here.
And I'll have Rob present study to the commission. It's the same as what we presented to the school board last Tuesday. And I believe there's also a representative on from the school district. I know she was doing some traveling, and if she's not here, then Jeremy's has some background to present in case she's not online. But I think I saw her on there earlier. Yeah. So with that, Rob, if you want to get started on the Mercer.
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, good. This is no different than what we showed to the Jackson or the Teton County School District when we presented this to them. Wanted you to see apples to apples. And so just next slide, please. A lot of this is not news to you, but we do introduce just quickly what a Mercer is. Specifically that one of three things can trigger it: capacity, condition, or adequacy. And the overall purpose is to ensure efficient use of limited financial resources while still maintaining safe and functional school environments. Next slide, please. This particular one was triggered by the adequacy. And then obviously the goal was to develop financial and educationally beneficial remedy. And there were several tasks along with they went along with this study. As was mentioned before, this is a supplemental report of a larger Mercer study, but they wanted to go forward with this because it is a security situation at the school, and it's time sensitive. Next slide, please. The report structure is pretty straightforward since this is just the access control or the security vestibule. So there's a brief introduction, an adequacy analysis, and then remedy options and then recommendation. Next slide. The adequacy standards for access control state that every school shall have a single point of entry for visitors, a secured vestibule, main entry control systems, and a visitor management system. Jackson Hole High School has all of those with the exception of the highlighted pink there, a secured vestibule. So they are deficient when it comes to meeting those standards because they do not have that secure vestibule. Next slide, please. When we look at what possible remedies there are, you know, they don't have a vestibule, so there's not a ton of remedies other than creating a vestibule. But one thing that we did look at and we've seen in other places, and that was establishing a security station right inside the main entrance with the inside that existing hallway space. And there's a little sketch there of kind of what that might look like. Advantages to that are it does establish a security presence. It doesn't require substantial expense. And there's not any construction disturbance involved as far as to students or the operation of the school. Disadvantages, obviously, is it lacks privacy. It hinders the egress of the building. There's no waiting room or reception room. It doesn't offer that that full protection that a secure vestibule would. And really, in its spirit of the adequacy standards, it doesn't comply with the adequacy standards because it's not a secure vestibule. So this option, while we have it as an option, technically is more of a temporary option than a full option. So moving on to the second option on the next slide, remedy option 2 is to build and construct a vestibule adjacent to the main entrance. The way Jackson Hole High School is designed, the main office isn't at the main entrance. It's down the hallway and to the left. So it's not where you can just kind of, put a hallway into the main office. So you have to kind of create a vestibule. There is a place adjacent to it that can be built. And building a vestibule obviously has some advantages as far as it does establish that controlled entry point with a 2-door system where one door allows you into the vestibule, but you can't get through to the main building without signing in and being let in by staff. It prevents access until visitors have been verified and went through the management, the visitor management system. It creates a waiting space outside of the main office so that if folks are there to drop off stuff to a student that maybe they had forgotten, or they're waiting on their escort or whatever, there is a place for them to sit and wait that doesn't impede egress and is a nice, safe, secure area to do that. And ultimately, it does comply with the intent of the adequacy standards. The disadvantage is well, there's construction involved and there's a cost that comes with construction. However, given the adequacy standards and the securing of the building, you'll see in the next slide, our recommendation is to go with this option 2 with an estimated cost of around $612,000. And with that, any questions that you might have, I'd be happy to answer.
Question, board members? Yeah, Tom.
Is this new vestibule to be built under the overhang that's at the main entrance? Is that where they're looking at building it, or kind of picture school building?
And there at the main entrance, it's a long hallway that has some land adjacent to it where they would be able to build it right there, extend that overhang out a little bit so it's connected. But yeah, right there at where you walk into the building to the right. Well, I guess if you're looking at the doors, it's to the left.
Any other questions?
Will this new vestibule be incorporated into the new school? Whatever the Mercer comes out.
Mr. Chairman, currently what we're looking at in the large Mercer is we're not building a new school. So there's just modifications to the existing school. Some additions, primarily for additional CPE space. And so then stuff with the kitchen and dining room areas in the school. So the existing school will stay there. This is an addition onto the existing school.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll see.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So again, on July 16th, 2025, Mr. Tanner and myself met with the Teton School District Board of Trustees at their board meeting, and we presented this same information, and they voted to concur with the remedy to construct the secure vestibule adjacent to the main entrance as the most cost-effective remedy to improve security at the district. I know we have somebody from the district that may wish to speak to that also. I think it's probably the appropriate time for that.
Sure, let's do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Charlotte Reynolds representing Teton County School District. We just did Mercer and just to move forward with this important project
breaking up.
and
Don't mean to
respectfully
interrupt you.
request.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but you're breaking up. Could you just talk a little?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. I'm on the road to Cheyenne as we speak. But again, we just wanted to state our appreciation for consideration of this important project. We appreciate staff working with us to bring this forward to you and respectfully request your approval of the Mercer and allocation of funds. And with that, I stand for questions.
Thank you very much. Have a good, safe trip.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, one of the things that did come up at the board meeting, so you understand, this is the estimated cost. Move forward with the design. We feel comfortable with the dollars we're using for the square footage and that kind of stuff. But again, there's questions from the board. Is this all we get? Exactly 610 or whatever? Said no. We realize that there's things to be design work and that it's a budget figure. Primarily for the square footage. Well, how does that work out? Or so comfortable with that. But I just want to make you aware of the fact that it is an estimate. We're not going to hold them to that exact penny on the dollars. So the action item, Mr. Chairman, is the commission shall determine whether the adoption of the supplemental study recommended for site security and the construction of the secure vestibule of approximately 600 square foot adjacent to the current main entrance for the high school is the most cost-effective remedy to improve building security. Potential results, adoption of the Mercer by the SFC would allow most work to be incorporated into their facility plan and the district and the SCD to secure the procurement design services for the remedy. No Mercer is adopted in the district yet and unable to move forward with the implementation of the secure vestibule until the entire Mercer study is complete. The commission formally adopts it for Jackson High School. Our recommendation is the SCD recommends that the commission or that the SFC adopt as its written determination MGT's study entitled Most Cost-Effective Remedy Study Jackson Hole High School Adequacy Supplemental Report, Site Security, dated July 2025, and remedy to construct a secure vestibule of approximately 600 square feet as the most cost-effective remedy to improve security of the facility for the staff, for the students. This recommendation is in the best financial and educational interests of the state, taking into consideration the most effective, cost-effective approach, or efficient and cost-effective approach in order to deliver the quality education services and address the building the facility needs, having taken into consideration the effects of the proposed activity on the local community. So the recommended motion is I move the commission for the SFC approve the SDD's recommended motion as written.
Entertain a board motion.
I make that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Need a second?
Second.
Aye.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Since you're ready to vote?
You're fine.
All those in
Oh, yeah. See you later. Thanks.
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The motion is approved. Next item we have 6, Cook County School District number 1, Mercer for Sundance Bus Maintenance Building. Administrator Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to give you a little background on this project, the 2023 condition schedule identified the Sundance Bus Maintenance Facility in Crook County with a facility condition index of 0.703 projected in 2028. By commission rules, an FCI score greater than 0.3 in the 5-year projection drives a Mercer. As the commission is aware, Mercer is the remedy that the commission deems optimizes benefits relative to the cost of that remedy. In early 2024, the State Construction Department entered into agreement with FEA as our consultant to perform this most cost-effective remedy. The objectives of the remedy was to address the identified condition need, to ensure the adequacy of the facility, and ensure we provided a sustainable long-term solution for the district and that facility, and to balance the benefits, the costs, the efficiency, and the educational outcomes. With that, you do have a copy of the presentation in your packet if you so choose to follow along. And I will turn the floor over to Maureen Roskowski with FEA, who has joined us on the line.
Thank you, Administrator Carlson. So as Administrator Carlson indicated, the need identified for this facility was conditioned with a projected FCI of 0.7 in 2028. So the Mercer study was identified to improve that condition and look at the most cost-effective remedy to be able to support education services across the district. This facility was constructed in 2008 and converted to a bus maintenance facility in 2012. Overall, when we visited the site and looked at the existing condition assessment data, there really are only minor replacements due to age needed, sort of normal building system replacements. And we focused on what can we do to improve the condition of this facility and maintain that good condition for at least the next 5 years. So we looked at the condition assessment data, our observations of existing conditions, and our analysis of what projected major maintenance type of work was needed. And looking at all of that, this facility does not need a capital construction remedy to be able to bring the facility up to an acceptable condition. We found through looking at prioritization of building systems, looking at useful service life, when things were going to need to be replaced, and focusing again on those needs over the next 5 years. And we found that the condition can be improved and the building can be kept under the FCI threshold without requiring complete building renovation or building replacement. The financial analysis for this Mercer study really looked at what are those system and component costs, primarily replacement costs. The costs shown in the Mercer study don't include any of those owner costs like AE fees, commissioning, etc. And with inflation, we brought the 2023 condition assessment data up to $2025, but did not add inflation after that, as the SCD will add inflation, design fees, and all of that in the budget that they are presenting to you. So when we looked at all of that, the remedy to do component replacement and some system repair, some of the items are listed here, things like backup generator, flooring replacement, some plumbing replacements, items related to the HVAC, fire protection, some building exterior, again, some replacements that are due to age, and some repairs that are needed. That if we do all of this, we can maintain the FCI below the 0.3 threshold through at least 2036. And so the most cost-effective remedy for the Sundance bus building was to do building system and component repair and replacement. And if you look at this chart here, it's around $370,000. And if you look at, there's a lot in 2026, so there's needs to bring this facility up fairly soon to get it to an acceptable condition. And you can see in 2027, with doing that work in 2026, we're able to bring down the FCI below that 0.3 threshold and be able to maintain that through at least 2031. And we found we could do it through at least 2036 with continuing ongoing major maintenance type of work. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions? Questions, board? Any questions? Seeing none? Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I was kind of looking at the costs and stuff here. Looks like one of those what you got to do projects that's kind of hard to get a contractor to bid. And I noticed that there's an electrical component in there. Was that generator that's not 1,000?
You look that up. I can answer that question.
Maureen, do you know what that 130?
You were asking about the electrical
Yes.
Yes.
and if that included more than the backup generator. I believe it does include more than the backup generator. There's additional electrical replacement items in there.
So would this be basically one project?
You know, I think a couple things. Was the assessment team also recommend. Additionally, this is one of those projects that we were discussing yesterday. It was original said at a replacement cost value of $150. It doesn't take very many to efficiency that amount per square foot out of the 70% value. This is one that brought up currently to $200 a square foot, which is probably on the side want to be conservative, slow walk our way. Say the 280 still be my cost still and keep in mind
Great, if there's no further questions, Mr. Chairman, last week on July 16th, both Mr. Rexis and I attended the Crook County School District #1 Board of Trustees meeting. The board voted unanimously to concur with the remedy system or component repair and replacement as the most cost-effective remedy for the Crook County School District #1 Sundance Bus Maintenance Facility. Action item would be for the commission to determine whether the adoption of the study recommendation system or component repair replacement is the most cost-effective solution for the condition needs of the bus maintenance facility. Potential results: the adoption of the proposed Mercer allows the department to incorporate the proposed work into the Crook County School District #1 facility plan, and the district and the department to proceed with preparation of a project agreement and procurement of the design services and subsequent construction services to implement the remedy. In 2024, the district was appropriated in the neighborhood of $8 million. I don't know that number exactly, but around $8 million for the design and the replacement of this facility. And we will go in inflation on soft costs on, probably going to be in the neighborhood of $500,000. We will go through the design, get that bid done. Once we have a bid in place, then we'll make the decision on what amount of that money we should go ahead and revert in front of, completing the project. We don't want to sell. So this one does have the money in place. just need the Mercer and the facility plan for the district to move forward with this particular project. So if the Mercer is not adopted, then obviously we would have to go back to the drawing board and determine what other options we might have to deal with the identified issues. The recommendation is the State Construction Department recommends that the School Facilities Commission adopt its written determination FEA study entitled Most Cost-Effective Remedy Study for Sundance Maintenance Building dated July 7th, 2005, and the remedy system for repair and replacement as the most cost-effective remedy. This remedy is in the best financial and educational interest of the state, taking into consideration the efficient, cost-effective approach in order to deliver quality educational services and address building and facility needs, having taken into consideration the effects of the proposed activity on the local community. Mr. Randy Gill, Maintenance Facilities Director for Cook County, is here, and I'd like to give you the opportunity to speak on this project if you'd like to.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Maureen, for giving us the information. Group 1 does agree with the findings of FEA. Mercer, and we appreciate considering.
Thank you for your.
The recommendation.
Entertain a motion.
I move that SFC approve this case department's
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Jody. Move it second. Discussion.
This has been approved by the school board.
Yes. On July 16th.
Well, always the Mercer be approved for the school, by the school board before we get them. So we'll get them after they vote. Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? So moved. Next item is tab 7. Warcroft Middle High School Administrator Carlson. Mercer, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we're going to stay in Crook County School District number 1 with Moorcroft Middle School High School. In 2023, the condition schedule identified this facility with a facility condition index 4.304 in 2028. Given that score, that did initiate action of the most cost-effective remedy. So in 2024, again, we entered into agreement with FEA consultants to perform this study for the Moorcroft Middle School High School. The objective of this particular study was to address the identified condition need. We did spend time looking at the current enrollments projected for this facility. Since it is an educational building, we ensured the facility could deliver quality education. And to look at providing a sustainable long-term solution for the middle school, high school, and Moorcroft to balance the benefits, cost, efficiency, and educational outcomes. Again, you've got a copy of the presentation in your packet if you want to follow along. And I will turn the floor over again to Maureen Wiskowski, FEA.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as noted, again, this trigger was conditioned with an FCI of 0.3 projected in 2028. And we looked at this facility. It is an older facility. It's about 37 years old, and it does have significant building systems that need replacement. We focused in on, again, how can we bring the building or maintain the building in that acceptable condition to keep the FCI threshold below 0.3. And there are some critical systems and components. They've got obsolete coal-fired boilers shown here in the picture that need to be replaced and need to have a different type of system. They've got significant issues with their plumbing systems where they have a variety of piping materials throughout the school, which causes a lot of problems for them and has been hard to maintain. There's some drainage concerns near the building, some leaks from the window seals. There's significant pest damage to the wood flooring, and the artificial turf football field will need replacement. So again, we focused on, okay, what needs to be done over the next 5 years to be able to maintain that FCI at the threshold level. We focused on prioritizing critical systems and things that are in need of repair. We looked at the remaining service life and analyzed based on our conditions and the data when things need to be replaced, and focused over those next 5 years. Again, the costs in the Mercer study are true system and component replacement costs. It doesn't include all the additional owner costs, design fees, et cetera, and doesn't include inflation out, but that has been added to the Mercer numbers by the SCD in the budget that they are presenting to you. So key areas for this high school that need to be done to be able to maintain that FCI below 0.3 are some new systems, and some significant new systems. We need new boilers, that plumbing, all those piping systems need to be replaced, which is a significant investment, including some investments around the control systems with the HVAC to be able to maintain that system, some security, that football field surface, roofing, replacing roof, and building finishes, interior finishes, both from a aesthetic, but also as we are doing all the other work in the building, there's going to be significant interior finishes needs replacement as well. So when we looked at that all together, there's about a $10 million investment to look at this and maintain this building below that 0.3. You can see there's a significant investment in year one. Primarily a big investment of that is that plumbing and the needed repairs and replacements to that plumbing. And right away, if we make that investment in year one, the FCI goes down to 0.2. And you can see across this that it goes down and maintained below that 0.3 through at least 2031 by making these investments in these needed building system replacements. So our analysis showed that the most cost-effective remedy for the Moorcroft High School is building system and component repair and replacement, taking care of these needs, and based on the capacity and other issues that we looked at, there was no capital construction remedy needed for this school. So with that, I will take any questions.
Any questions? Questions?
But for this in vain.
I'll be there.
Will this include the security features for example, vestibule or?
Their office, well, their reception area is right by their entryway, and there is a vestibule there. I'm not overly familiar. Right. Box. We'll definitely take a look.
There's no further questions at this point. I'll carry on. I would like to point out, if you look on page 117, 167, I did point this out to the district as well. We took a good look at enrollment projections of what's happening across the state. You will see that this particular district actually shows a slight decline for a while, but then it actually starts to be one of our districts that starts to increase looking out into the future. So that a bright spot there for them, while it's not a lot of students, it does show that increase. projects are constructed and with the ongoing maintenance that the district has been given that facility, they can easily keep the condition score above a 0.3 clear out to 2040. So, you know, it's a 37-year-old facility, just a lot of systems come through. And then you had the construction issues with the way the plumbing was installed, the mix and match of different materials that has caused the district some issues, maintenance issues. Based on FDA's analysis, the recommendation for the most cost-effective remedy is system or component repair and replacement of the following major maintenance work for high priority needs. Through discussions with the district and condition of the flooring, gym, the sewer and plumbing go right underneath. That work needs to be taken care of, all that needs to be replaced. So through the process, they have had quite a bit of termite damage to that floor. So we did include in here the cost to completely replace that. That cost based on the condition of the district. The other thing I'd like to bring up, Marie mentioned the artificial turf. Mr. Rexis and I went back and took a look. That artificial turf was approved by the commission before it was installed as needed there, based on water availability or condition or something. So that artificial turf is not considered enhancement. Anyone high school. At the July 16th, 2025 Crook County School District No. 1 board meeting, the board did vote unanimously to concur with the remedy as presented. The commission shall determine whether the adoption of this study and recommendation is the most cost-effective solution. Potential results, adoption of this Mercer allows the proposed work to be incorporated in the facility plan, and it allows the department and the commission to make a budget request for the design and construction funds to deploy the remedy. When we review that remedy, you'll see in there that we do have funding in for design and the construction, amount of around $14.5 million to deploy this work. If no merger is adopted, we will have to go back and consider different options and different remedies for this particular facility. The recommendation. The State Construction Department recommends that the School Facility Commission adopt as its written determination FDA study entitled Most Cost-Effective Remedy Study for Moorcroft High School dated July 7th, 2025, and the remedy system or component repair and replacement as the most cost-effective remedy. This remedy is in the best financial and educational interest of the state, taking into consideration the most efficient, cost-effective approach in order to deliver quality educational services and address building and facility needs, having taken into consideration the effects of the proposed activity on the local community. Again, I would like to offer the opportunity for Gil to speak on this particular facility and project.
Mr. Chair, we do agree, Crook One agrees with FDA's findings. This particular project, there's no way that our patient we'd have to save all of it 10 years plus in order to take care of this one facility. And with funds to our other facilities. So we really appreciate your consideration. Yes.
We'll use gas station.
You're right.
Like sound like gas. Joni wants to say something.
Oh, I was just thinking about, I remember when they were building this school. I think I have been around a while. And it just kind of blows my mind that it's 37 years that it's been there already. I'm thinking, why do we need new systems? It's not that old. Eh? And I've watched the school from the beginning, from the building and the adding on and the improvements, and it's definitely time. And they've done a really good job of keeping the facility up to date.
You'd like to make the motion to approve?
I would love to make a motion to approve the SCD's recommendation as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Jackie. Discussion? Discussion? Discussion, since you ready to vote, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion has been approved. Next, we have staff 8. Request for emergency funding for Newcastle High School chillers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the first of 2 emergency requests today. We've got an awful lot of information in here for your consideration. So if I need to slow down or if you need to ask questions along the way to dig into some of these. Weston County School District number 1 is requesting emergency funding for the purchase of a long lead time chiller to replace the failing chiller at Newcastle. The school district has been working with Long Control to extend the life of a failed air-cooled chiller that has an in-service date tag dated 2001. The typical life expectancy for air-cooled chillers is 15 to 20 years, and replacement was recommended in a 2023 facility condition assessment. Weston County School District 1's major maintenance balance at the end of fiscal year 24 was $726,377, with an additional $944,903 coming fiscal year 2025. In the last 5 years, Weston County School District 1 spent $4,589,104 in major maintenance, which averages out to $917,821 per year, and that is $75,021 above the average annual major maintenance allotment they received during that. So the point is they've been expending their major maintenance to try to maintain, so spending more funds than what they've been receiving last month. Facilities FCI score is a 0.105 with a district efficiency index of 140.56% for all buildings, all components. They have $6,121,411 in existing projected deficiencies through 2027, with $4,354,955 in existing and projected major maintenance payments through 2027, amounting to a shortfall of $1,766,456 if they were to attempt to repair all their deficiencies. According to Weston County School District 1, current contracted planned work orders for remediation of some of those deficiencies noted in the most recent site assessment building zone and reflected in its FCI score totaled $1,008,000, while the balance of the major maintenance account is projected to be $1,277,932. If Weston County School District 1 were to further expend major maintenance funds on the unexpected critical chiller failure, the district would be left with a balance of $55,171, a sum insufficient to respond to future unexpected failures, including the requested mechanical component project if it fails prior to receipt of any future appropriation. So we do have a mechanical replacement scheduled for that school as part of the budget request that you guys are going to be considering today. And that amount of that request is $4,703,381.50. And that includes a chiller on both. The district is concerned that the chiller may not make it through the year, much less next summer, as they're having to shut the system down reset on a daily basis. And this is a long lead time item of 16 to 18 weeks. So they can't wait for their appropriation for next July if it's approved, because that would put them into the following summer. Chances are it's most likely going to be a phased project. Costs for the chiller have been proposed at $214,761. That's just to get the chiller on order, so that it'll be here in anticipation sometime to remedy that situation. If the district were to commit $214,760 for this time, it would deplete their account and they may not be able to timely react critical rise throughout. The action item for today is to determine whether the Weston County School District funds request qualifies for emergency funds in accordance with School Facility Commission rules and regulations. Section. Potential results are that if the School Facility Commission approves school if the School Facility Commission does not approve Weston County School District, then the district may be without cooling into the Castle High School or in conjunction. Recommendation is that the School Facility Commission determine the chiller situation immediately and substantially affects Weston County School District funds ability to provide educational programs required by law. Other reasonable alternatives exist to address the situation. Declare an emergency and approve up to $214,761. We included the letter from district and the first part of the fee proposal from Monty for ordering. Behind that is a breakdown that we received from the district of their projected major maintenance balances after the work that takes place. And with that, I'll either turn it over to manager. The addition.
I'd just like to thank you all for showing me good help. Thank you for your consideration. Any questions?
Questions for Adam? I guess I have one question before John as well, but the cost seems very precise, having down to $60,000. How firm are we on that cost? Is that?
It's actually a fixed proposal.
Okay, so it's a proposal, not just an estimate.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we've had some discussions with the district about that. We consider controls dietary. And so if they have one control company for a majority of their buildings, it probably wouldn't be expedient for them to have multiple. But I think we can allow for that, but we've had conversations with the district about putting out the actual work aside from that to get. And I think everybody's.
Entertain a motion.
I'd move to approve the recommendation as presented.
Need a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just say, I know Adam has been working hard to keep this system going. And I have heard from the community, students and people that spend significant time in that building that something needs to be done, unquote. So I'm proud we can move forward with this.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Betsy, you ready to vote? All those in favor of approving the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those, please say aye. So move. Item 9,
Chairman, West,
2001. About when they first started the state buildings.
that's correct. And this was
Because I
one
think,
of the
as I
pipeline.
look at Tony, I remember we were this, Tony, Newcastle was the first schools under the new system. Johnson,
Newcastle and Upton were the very first year.
then Johnson County came in right behind. I guess I do have a memory. He was old. Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
I,
no worries.
now I am.
Tab 9 is a request from Weston County School District number 7 for emergency funding to repair the elevator at Upton High School. The elevator, which is original to the building established in 2002, suffered critical mechanical failure. Typical life expectancy for most elevator components, such as the controls, wiring, motors, drives, and hydraulic equipment, 20 to 25 years. Replacement was recommended for 2031 and 2023 facility condition assessments based on life expectancy. Weston County School District 7's major maintenance balance at the end of fiscal year 24 was $794,207, with an additional $539,930 coming in fiscal year 25. The last 5 years, Weston County School District 7 has spent $1,655,329 major maintenance, which averages out $331,066 per year, which is approximately $74,508 less than the average annual allotment during the same time frame. The facility's FCI score is a 0.073 with a district efficiency index of 87.89 for all buildings, all components. That equates to $2,482,597 in existing projected deficiencies through 2027, with $2,824,672 in existing projected major maintenance payments through 2027, amounting to a projected major maintenance balance of $342,075. According to Weston County School District 7, current contracted plan work orders for remediation of some deficiencies noted in the recent site assessment and reflected in the FCI score total $610,499, while the balance of the major maintenance account is projected to be $659,498. If Weston County School District 7 were to further expend major maintenance funds on the unexpected critical mechanical failure of the elevator, the district would be left with a balance of negative $177,406 in its major maintenance account. The sum insufficient to respond to future unexpected failures, including the requested roofing fails prior to receipt of future appropriations. A roofing component project for that building is in the twin. Stop here. This is the main reason why we got thrown off the tracks with the unanticipated and the total budget request. This is the shift that we made from a roof project to the boiler project because there was some communication errors between the district and I. And just to give you a little more detail on that, what had occurred is they had sent me a document from an evaluation of their roof and the recommendation of work that needed to be done. I didn't understand that work had already been performed several years ago. And so I was thinking that was the work that needed to be done. And in reality, what the district was communicating was that we've already done the patch and repair and left this along as far as we can. And we need a full roof replacement. We didn't really have a good cost estimate for that roof replacement. So we decided that we were going to switch, go in a different direction for another urgent component on their boiler systems, wire, until we could get a consultant in there to help us work through what that cost is. So the project could be appropriate. So we'll probably see that request come forward next year or the year after. But we do have a component project in here for Weston County School District 7. It's just a boiler replacement at the same building that we're talking about. The elevator. That's about $500,000 roughly higher than what's written in your summary sheet for 340. We had to adjust that up, I think, more than $800,000 to cover that boiler replacement. And we do have a cost estimate. According to Weston County School District 7, this is the only means of American with Disabilities Act compliant access to the second floor of the building, impacting the educational program and creating legal and or safety liabilities. Costs for the elevator components, it says estimated, but we actually have a hard quote as well from the elevator company that's attached in your packet in the amount of $226,425. But the district were to commit that amount from their major maintenance this time, it would deplete their account and they may not be able to timely react to other critical needs that arise throughout the district. The action item for today is to determine whether Weston County School District 7's request qualifies for emergency funding in accordance with school facility section. Potential results are that if it's approved, Weston County School District 7 will get the elevator repaired as soon as possible. If not approved, Weston County School District 7 may need to postpone projects planned for summer. Department recommendation is that the school facility commission determine that the elevator situation immediately and substantially affects their ability to provide the educational program required by law, and that no other reasonable alternative exists to address the situation other than declare an emergency and approve up to $226,425 for the repair of the elevator. I'm not sure if we've got anybody. Oh, sorry, Les is here.
Thanks, John and Shelby, for your unwavering support on that. Appreciate the consideration for the emergency money. Take any questions.
I was just glancing at the quote. It has does not include work by others. Is there the potential that anything might be done outside the actual integrated elevator repairs as part of this project?
It's just elevator components, yeah. So it should not be any work outside the elevator.
Well, this elevator, it would be a night. It really is. I mean, go up here towards Buffalo, brand new school elevator.
That was part of the issue.
When you get my age, elevators are nice. And Johnson County went through one here just recently on there. They got sued like crazy. Gotta be.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. And frankly, the reaction time from any of the elevator less than desirable. You're usually looking at 6 to 10 months just to get the components put together at the factory before they're even shipped. That's
Why
half the work.
half 90% of those hotels, their elevators are always run like that. Well, the health certainly point about it. I just don't know. Need a second?
Second.
Move to second a couple times. Any discussion? Discussion. Since you're ready to vote, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Next item is tab 10, which is 2027-28. School Facilities Commission biennial budget. Director will give the presentation, and then we'll have a little bit of time for public comment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We went through the budget discussion yesterday afternoon, I think, pretty extensively. So what I offer up in Chairman for the presentation is go down through each item in the header, not get into quite so much detail, talk about the dollar amounts, and certainly answer any questions that the commission or public may have in regard to requests. So that, Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and get started. Yes. Okay. First item up is the operation budget, standard budget requests are developed by the State Construction Department. However, the SCD requests the following items as exceptions, and talk a little bit about exceptions for standard budget yesterday as exceptions to the standard budget. So we're asking for some computer software funding. Again, that also has to go through our the state's enterprise technology services department and following their guidelines. The estimated cost there is $29,361. Mr. Chairman, I don't know how you want to handle this. We want to do it question by answer or I'll wait till the end. Okay, thank you. The next item up is for a senior policy and planning advisory position. That's to provide technical support, help the agency leadership, hopefully speed up some of our processes instead of basically, and I'm not going to say as much as three of us, but certainly John and Shelby with all the other stuff that they do in their day-to-day work, besides taking on a lot of these bigger projects that are coming up, such as the Adamson standards, Mercer studies, some of those sort of things that have been added to our plate here. The next position is the finance and analyst manager position. That's a backup to our chief financial officer. As we talked about yesterday, his position is chief financial officer, but he's also our IT kind of software guru and has really done a lot of great work for the state. I think placed us in probably a leadership role in the country for how we manage the facility condition assessment, things of that nature. Again, I went to a meeting, a national meeting in June with Jeremy, and he received, it's his third national award for his work being recognized. Nobody's ever got three. Not even sure anybody's got two nationwide. So anyway, this is the third one. So I think it speaks to the efforts that he's done in addition the department, the state, to make, I think, more intelligent decisions on spending money. You just saw a couple of that today. We talked about these emergency projects. All that data that John talked to there flows through the systems that he is responsible for, making all the major maintenance dollars come through and all those invoices and that sort of thing. So we really need somebody to help do some of the day-to-day requests that the staff makes for him, as well as become a backup for his position. He's a one-man show. If he was to leave, I believe that's something like $2,400 an hour for the consultant to come in and maintain work the AIM system, so updates or whatever. It wouldn't take very many days. I think one time I sat down and calculated, it's like 6 weeks we pay for his annual salary if we got to use a consultant. So I think this is really a pretty low cost insurance, for a backup for that position. The next item that we have is our travel expenses. Again, we haven't had any major updates or expenditure requests for a number of years based on the travel. If you go back and look at the workbook department, say from 2023 or so, and actually even go back to 18, 19 when I was here previously as director, we didn't have an awful lot of construction work. We weren't doing the Mercers. They were primarily formed by the districts. And so, there's just been a lot of added work. And then looking forward, $1 billion worth of projects coming up. So our project managers are going to be on the road a lot more than they have been in the past. And so, in that regard, we're asking for what I consider actually to be a modest increase of about $79,000 for travel. It sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but I can tell you the cost of hotel rooms since I was director previously to now is almost double. And so you start looking at those type of costs. I think food is more than doubled. When you go out for the meals and all that that's attached to that. So again, I think this is a fairly modest request. We've got an awful lot of detail backup, down to the number of people, the number of types of meetings that we're attending, things in the future. And so again, I think it's justified, and certainly looking forward to testifying on this particular item with both the governor's office and legislature. Major maintenance, again, the exception request here is $58,942,340. That's based on the recent change in statute from the 2% to the 2.5. The total request there is $235,054,719. Just an interesting, putting on my bigger hat for director for the overall agency. On the state side, when we talk about major maintenance, their entire request is an exception request. They've never had a standard budget on the state side. With the recent change in statute of this year, hopefully that'll change in the future. So we'll be looking at increases where we'd be talking like the 58 million, the standard budget that would be coming through in its profile, which makes a big difference in the state's budget. It's profiled there right now at the 176 million for us. In the state side, we have to go in and ask for the full amount. So this year in the budget, we're going to have $200-some million exception request asked for on the state side. So a little bit of difference between the two houses, but hopefully we're getting that aligned after work last year with the legislature. Yeah. Charter school leases, $6,332,928 there. That's for the existing facilities that we currently have. And then the second item, the second bullet point under that topic is the charter school contingency fund. Again, trying to mirror that after our land opportunity fund. We just really don't know what's coming down the road. There's an awful lot of moving pieces to how we pay for those leases. And with recent change, I think it was about 2 years ago, where we went from the 3-year look to having to pay immediately when the charter school online doesn't really give us a lot of reaction time. So again, a request there of $1,792,976. We have 3 modulars in Germany 1. And so that request to pay for those, the ongoing lease is $52,125. Engineering and technical, that's a standard budget. We talked a little bit yesterday and just a moment ago about the difference between the exception and the standard budget. We have a standard budget there, Laura. I think it's about 1 point.
Which one?
On the engineering technical, about 1.9 million.
Well, it's about 1 point. We're going to see how it develops because we got 700,000 last year. Incorporate that if they inserted it one time. So with it, would be 1.9. Without it, it'd be about
1.2 is the standard budget. So again, but we feel we're okay with the current funding balance we have with what's in the standard budget that we move forward. But we're not going to ask for any money for the engineering and technical this year. But we did want to include that so the commission was aware that there is a category for that money. We're not asking. School safety and security is an exception request for audit. School safety and security, there's a $10 million request there. Again, going back in history in the 14-15 time frame, there was money obligated for the school districts, and then again some dollars obligated out of the 10% of their major maintenance funds. And so I certainly feel it's appropriate given the needs of the districts and what we're seeing through the most recent security summit we had, and then just discussions in Shelby's and I's travel and visiting with the districts over the last year and a half or so, looking at what's coming up in software upgrades for a lot of the rapid systems used by many of the school districts, that the commission take a look at a $10 million request for that. And then we discussed yesterday, our proposal was to take $2 million of that, put it on a for security vestibules and bollards, front-end protection for the buildings, and have the districts come to the commission and ask for funding out of that $2 million pot. The remaining $8 to be distributed to all 48 districts based on ADM. So kind of like we do for major maintenance, head out to the districts for their work. And again, as we noted yesterday, a lot of that's just due to the fact that there is such a broad variance in needs between the districts, and even within buildings within the districts. We felt that it's better, I like they talk about, the best decisions are made closest to the ground. So, you know, the mayor of the city's doing it versus the state funding something for. That's kind of our look at that. Rather than us pointing that out, let's leave it to the superintendents and their folks to figure out what they need in their individual utilize those funds that way. The next is our design phase project request. A total of $13,342,182. 4 projects there: Hobbs Elementary, East High, Rendezvous Elementary, and Moorcroft. We talked yesterday about the Rendezvous. We have a request for dollars in amount, but we think that's going to come down as the merger is completed. We hope to have that merger to you by September. And so with those dollars decreasing, we're going to ask that upon approval by school board and by commission for that merger, that we amend that budget request, reflect that in the October budget request, that with the select committee on school facilities, then our discussions with the governor at that time. One other note here that's a little bit different than what you see in most recent years, that is Laramie One, the East High School. We're only asking for design. You don't see that down in the construction. The reason for that is, if you recall, the merger that was approved for that, there's a number of different ways that the district can attack that additional square footage for the high school. They could put it in different locations. So we felt, rather than just trying to tie some dollar amount, since it's for renovation, that can fluctuate more than a standard. Let's let the consultant go through the design, give us a more firm cost. We'll come back next year to the board and ask for those construction dollars. The construction phase project request, $115,335,961. Again, this is for the construction of a Hobbs Elementary, an elementary school in Laramie One. Laramie One, the art off-site infrastructure. Again, construction for the Rendezvous Elementary School for Fremont 25. Kirk One, the Moorcroft Junior High School. And then your component level requests of $31,661,322. Again, standard hope that we're going to ask for there is that if there's any funds when we work on those 19 component projects, if there's any funds remaining from those, that we transfer that down to 3 other projects that are noted, and that's from bid 1-3, Grable Elementary, Mechanical Control, Johnson 1, Casey K-12, a roof, and then Fremont 14, Indian Middle School, a roof for that project. So hopefully we'll have enough funding available to take on one or some of those projects for the future.
Like I said, there was only one. Yes.
Demolition project requests. Again, we have demolition for the Valley View Elementary abatement demolition That was a school that came from Albany, Albany one last meeting. Or last meeting. They've been before the commission a couple of times with disposal of buildings. So that one has been approved by the commission as far as the disposal. Laramie 1, Harv Elementary, abatement, demolition. And so that will help the district also with that new school construction moving forward to get that thing taken care of. There's students there right now, get it out of the way and help with the site work and that kind of stuff. So we actually going to end up with a little bit of situation. We have a density that we saw where we get the new school, we got to get the demo done to finish up the project with the parking lot. So this will help kind of consolidate that future work. Fremont 25, Rendezvous Elementary, abatement and demolition. Again, ties back to the earlier discussion on unanticipated funds. We're asking for a total there of $8,574,392. That's the standard 6% of your demolition, safety security funding. Talked about construction phase projects and your planning and design work there. So again, that's $8,574,392. That would be adjusted if we adjust the cost on Rendezvous, just like we would for the design of the other project. And so total project requests are $395,472,358. There's a table down below that kind of breaks that out. I think a little easier to kind of look broad. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I certainly take it.
Questions from the board first? Questions from the public? Public question. Seeing none?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, with that, then the recommendation, the State Corrections Department recommends the commission approved $395,472,358 for the 27-28 biennium budget request for operations, school leases, safety, security, capital construction projects related to capacity and condition, components, unanticipated costs, major maintenance, demolition is shown in the SCD budget recommendation. The summary sheet, the commission authorizes the SCD to adjust project budgets if needed based on the final Mercer approved by the commission. Again, that's Rendezvous approving that. The recommended motion, Mr. Chairman, move the commission approve the State Construction Department's recommendation.
Thank you very much. I'd entertain a motion.
Chairman, I move the commission approve the State Construction Department's recommendation as indicated.
Moved and seconded. Discussion, further discussion, further discussion, further discussion. Since you're ready to vote, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed to the motion, please say aye. Motion is approved. Next item is 11.
Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Yes.
I just want to thank our staff and actually the legal folks, believe it or not, get involved quite a bit. I want to thank them for all of their effort. It's not something that we, the department, take on with all this work. Awful lot of work, folks, collaboration. Just take a look at the amount of time that's spent working on the component projects themselves, going through the Mercer studies to get some of these projects approved, the larger construction projects. It's an awful lot of work by an awful lot of people. Today,
Next item is 11. Louisville Village Commission FY25 annual report.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this one, I guess I'll take it, Shelby, if you want. I still is Shelby's thunder since our practice for the select committee.
I'm scared.
Because she's hitting the run. So anyway, I gotta give her credit, she's gonna go up and help her husband pack a sheep off the mountain, here in August, so. So, he gets to shoot it, she gets to pack it. That's the 50-50 part.
You already tied up pictures.
Yeah, I think so. He's looking for the biggest, heaviest one though. Not necessarily horn size, the biggest, heaviest. Shelby and his daughter, their daughter's gonna go too, so they both get to pack the sheep for the hunter. Looking forward to the photos and the videos that go down. So, Mr. Chairman, we discussed the annual report again yesterday at pretty good length. I'll certainly take any questions that you have on that, but so the background is there's state statutes that require the School Facilities Commission to submit an annual school building status report. And again, just noted comments I meant on the budget. You can just see 100-some pages of data there that we track throughout the year, the annual meetings with the districts, all that kind of stuff, working with the state school there. There's just a lot of transfer of information, checking of information, to make this happen. So again, I want to thank everybody for their efforts. The action item here would be for the commission to authorize the state construction department to complete and submit the annual school building status report. If approved, the commission shall submit its annual school building status report to the Select Committee on School Facilities by September 1st, in accordance with state statute. And of course, we're looking to have this submitted to them for their August 20th meeting. The School Facilities Division of the State Construction Department recommends that the School Facilities Commission authorize the SCD to complete the major maintenance report as the data is reported by the school districts. Again, we talked about yesterday. They have their reporting starts July 1st, so not too long ago. We have some of that information in. We don't have it all. And we'll certainly, when that comes in, hopefully maybe by the end of the month or so, we'll have that full report kind of put together. Certainly, Laura and her staff working with the districts as they do every year, get a good product out of that. To authorize the SCD to make technical, grammatical, and formatting changes necessary to finalize the report if needed. Authorize the SCD to incorporate and approve the approved standard budget as developed by the state budget department. Authorize the SCD to adjust the project budgets if needed based on the final cursors approved by the commission. Authorize SCD to present the proposed SFC annual report to the Select Committee on School Facilities for its review and consultation. And then direct the SCD to report back to the commission at the September meeting of the FSC meeting. So again, Mr. Chairman, looking to answer any questions that you may have, or the audience again was involved in this yesterday. If they have anything, hold online. If not, the presentation.
Comments? See none.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the recommended motion is that the School Facilities Commission approve state construction department's recommendation.
I understand the motion. Moved. I need a second.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Discussion. Discussion. Since you're ready to vote, all those in favor of approving the motion, please say aye.
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 Any opposition to the motion, please say aye. Thank you all very much. The motion has been approved. We are going to go into executive session, but I'd like to make one comment. Notice this is one. There's another book staff put together. I will be very honest with everybody in this room. The reason we're having good quality schools, money to do it because of the staff. I think, you ever feel like criticizing, think about the good first and forget about the negative. They really take care of you. Here.
Before you go into executive session, I don't know if there's any public comments we can do.
Are there any public comments?
You said it all. So just a quick point, so we do have some buildings that we toured this morning after your executive session. Lunch will be here at 11:45. And then this afternoon, I have an arrangement, let's take us around town, whatever you'd like to see. West Elementary slated as one I wanted you guys to do first. I do want to show you our high school and some of the projects we've done there. And just kind of depending on what you'd like to see, I leave that to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Charlie, one of the things too that we might talk about your CTE program.
Sure.
When Shelby and I were up here last year, met with the superintendent, Charlie, and some staff. We talked about the CTE program that they're doing here, and I thought it was pretty amazing, really forward looking, and so maybe non-traditional type of stuff with they have a CTE program for law enforcement and I think maybe firefighters or something.
If you know, I can actually talk about that a little bit. I'll be happy to address that. So really last year, we had instituted a new principal about 2 years ago. And one of the things that he immediately wanted to do is try a different approach to education. So he toured Scotts Bluff, which is known for their career pathways. At the start of last year, we started with 6 career pathways. We started with our CNA program. So students can actually get a full CNA license in high school. My daughter completed that this last year. So she actually is a fully certified CNA. She is a junior in high school. That is something that I'm super proud of her for. I'll brag on her a little bit. She worked very hard to get that. The other one of our major success programs is our CDL program. That one took a little finagling with our insurance, but through the generous donation of a company who wishes to remain anonymous, we received a truck and a trailer to do the program. We ended up with 22 students that started. 9 took the final exams at the CDL place there in Riverton. We have 3 that have passed. One that passed from our instructor yesterday, our first, Corbin Butte is his name. He was a senior, just finished graduating. He has the CDL to do that. The other 2 were hired by Pepsi, Admiral Beverage, and are actually finishing their last test through them. But what ends up happening for those students is that they're not going to go to college, those 2. They were never going to. They're blue collar families. Families don't have money to send them to college. But the job they're going to have now starts about at $70,000 a year driving truck for Admiral Beverage. They will stay within state lines until they're 21. They will do all the runs from Jackson to here or from Cheyenne to here, wherever they need to go. But they're state bound for the first 3 years. So after that, then they're able to travel the interstate system. So what that does is basically it changes the future for these kids who don't have an opportunity to go to college. Right now, we have 34% of our kids that are in college. The other 66% won't. And so we wanted to change that. The other thing that we are starting to implement this year will be an avionics course. We are building a plane. I get a lot of interesting books when I talk about that one. So we just approved that for our insurance. We have an instructor who also teaches math and is a certified pilot instructor. So he will actually help them get a private pilot's license.
Oh, wow.
So, a lot of this is to be thanked for my superintendent, Mr. Argyris, our principal, Bruce Miller, and our board has been extremely open-minded to a lot of this. But basically, we are developing these career pathways. So those that aren't going to go to college have an opportunity to go somewhere else. The real estate program, we are working through helping them get their real estate license so they can sell real estate after high school. That program will come in year 2, a little more development needs there, but it's coming along. And so some of these other ones that we also are doing law enforcement. So for that one, they will actually test out, and then I'm not sure all the arrangements, we're still working on few arrangements, but eventually at 21, they'll be able to go to the academy. Be able to have a hold on that. But basically kicking them off into the start of their career long. So basically trying to, number one, bring in community, like bring in a need that the community, like bring in something that's helping you have. Two, being able to provide careers and futures to a lot of these kids who are not. So that way they're going to be able to contribute to our community.
Anybody else? Yeah, I would entertain a motion out of executive session.
Or
Legal advice.
Legal advice.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Discussion situation. Oh,
Those of you online, I just sent an invitation for the breakout room. You should be able to move there.
Got it.
As you're ready to vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Same side. So. Let's move right into
a flight plane.
And what you would know.
Oh, we did it through. Gotcha.
we're gonna take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Scott, I didn't think it'll probably be a 10, so, okay.
Yeah.
You talking about the bus garage where? Yeah, well, I think,
Hey, everybody watching
you know, they were
stuff? I
just
have
different
them
dates that were suggested in,
today.
and you know, the life expectancy was for those things.
It makes things less.
But you know, one thing that areas about billions is bids that they received, or the work that needed to be done, were very, very, very close to what Bureau of Veritase's cost estimates scopes were. So I think that the big question here is what's appropriate and adequate for a maintenance facility for a bus. You know what I mean? And we've got a section of rule that prohibits us from comparing existing facilities to the new design guidelines to determine adequacy. So we don't have any adequacy standards as to whether or not that is really appropriate. And I don't necessarily just want to strike the rule because we've got an antiquated and obsolete design guideline. So we need to establish, I think, some standards in the adequacy standard, which really should be more general and maybe a lower bar for adequacy. And then in the new design guidelines, we get a little more specific about what our expectations are. That way we're not necessarily comparing old inherited buildings against the new design guidelines, but we have some minimal standard in adequacy standards that help us. Because what they're saying is they just don't necessarily think that it's prudent for the state to invest $500,000 or more into this building to fix it up, because the building isn't appropriate for what we need. And we just don't have an avenue for doing that. Now, Jerry self-performed the Mercers on Teton and Jackson. Under Chapter 3, Section 8 for Campbell, sorry, for Campbell and Jackson. I said Teton. it wasn't quite the same situation on Tetons because they were at the top of the line. So theirs was a condition thing that drove that. Campbell's was not. They weren't in the running, but Jerry was having so many problems with about their high school. But if you read really closely in chapter 3, section 8 for adequacy requests, it only applies right now to education facilities. I think there are some non-educational facilities that are just as important as the educational facilities themselves.
It's school, yeah.
Exactly.
Having it 70%, that's close.
And so I think that's where we need to go, is we need to have something in the adequacy standards that sets the minimum bar that we can measure against. But we have to gather a whole lot of information first, because whatever it is we decide to do has to be sustainable. We can't necessarily put a program out there that's gonna have the potential for the state being obligated to build it for every district, because we just know that that's not. So my recommendation is we put together of what all those facilities look like statewide and how far other, I don't want to necessarily say districts, but how far some of the towns need to travel in order to get their bus service. And then we can make a call on what is the bare minimum acceptable, so that we know we're addressing the highest need first, but not any more than what we need to address. And we're in the process of pulling a lot of that information. I just haven't got that wires there, and then we'll have recommendations on what's appropriate. I'm not even sure. Because one of the things that they're talking about now is just going. So they can always have a, we don't have to pay for design over and over and over, just to get it, just the construction online. Is not to get that fixed site. And then that also will eliminate the need for us to have to do value engineering on this. And it eliminates a lot of back and forth on what's appropriate and what isn't. So it'll make it much more seamless and much more equitable. But I mean, we got a long ways to go to get there. So what we were discussing earlier, if we just get the bare minimum set of standards and use to determine how appropriate are and start.
The other piece of that, I was thinking about discussion. You know, we've talked about having a model. I don't know if that can be agreed upon by the majority of districts out there. Here's your template for a small school district. It's just base. That's good. Make it where it's acceptable for a larger. You got to increase square footage for whatever your employees lounge or type of thing. Looking at the facility at Campbell that was initially thrown out there versus West. You know, it's